Stacey Murphy here. There's a lot of talk when it comes to the future of work, and the conversation typically goes like this. Everything is accelerating so fast, and when they say everything, they mean technology usually. And there's all of these exponential technologies, AI and robotics and sensors and 3D printing, all these different things that are going to accelerate so quickly through industry because they're so much more efficient that so many people are going to be out of their typical jobs. And so what does the future of work look like? That's the typical conversation you hear around future of work. But I want to flip the scales a little bit and talk about the real future of work. When I hear the future of work, what I see is an understanding that because we have so many more tools available to us now, all these different tools that I already mentioned, and many more, that things are getting so much simpler. Any person can start a business. Any person can start a multi-million dollar, even billion-dollar business if they have a desire and they have a willingness to follow that process and move through it creatively. Anybody can do it these days with all the tools that are available. And so the interesting thing to me about the future of work is that it's not going to seem much like work at all. That word has a lot of negative connotation, right? That work is like, oh, this thing that we go and we do from 9 to 5, and then we work, and then we go do this other thing that we might call recreation or family or something else. But I think what's going to really gel in the future is this sort of liminal space of it's just going to be called creativity, or it's going to be called craft, or it's going to be called something like that, something around creativity. Because what's going to happen is that you can be doing so many different things. You could have a pizza business, and then you could have a farm, and then you could be a DJ. You could be all these different things. And there's no reason to niche anymore. There's no reason to think that you have to focus and do one thing and be really good at it. You can be all of the things that you want to be all at the same time, and they can blend in this really wonderful way and be like, I never thought that I would see an architect, singer, dancer before, circus performer, but wow, there's Stacey. And so basically, what I see for the future of work, creativity, is that you're going to get to express the multidimensionality of you. You're going to get to express all of your gifts in the world, and you're not going to have to get bogged down. People are going to allow you to be all of the things. They're not going to expect you just because you've been this thing all along that you continue there. So I have been, in my life, I've had a lot of lifetimes. I started in engineering. I became a race car driver. I worked in vehicle dynamics and noise and vibration and harshness for Ford, and I tuned cars and I raced cars for a living. And then I went back to architecture school, which was what I always imagined I would be doing. And I spent a decade in architecture, designing and building things. Oh my gosh, $200 million in construction, in building libraries, synagogues, churches, community centers, residential, amazing. And then I basically left and I started a think tank and started doing regenerative farming, and I created a decentralized urban farming network, was my first business, and it blew up so fast because I was using all my intuition, all my creativity to do it, creating a whole new local food system, a platform of engagement. People didn't even understand it. It was too far ahead of its time. It was in 2009. We were trying to tokenize this exchange system. It was really cool, really cool. And then from there, people got to know me as the urban farmer. But then by then, I was building eco villages, and I was teaching Wise Water School, Natural Building School, permaculture school, agroforestry, herbalism, and innovation and business. And then people started to get to know me as that. And then the next thing I know, I had a online platform teaching people how to garden around the world, 167 countries. And and then I sold that one, and then I started helping to coach people in business and incubating startups, and now I've been working back in architecture and real estate development. And so every time somebody sees me that hasn't seen me for a year, they're always surprised at how quickly I'm moving between things. And I think this is going to be the norm for the world, is that you're going to get to do all the things you wanted to do, and maybe even all at once. One of my dreams is to perform my handstand, my hand balance, arm balancing, while doing keynote speeches and integrating my circus performing into my keynote speeches. And how fun would that be, right? So you're going to get to, with this idea that everything is rapidly changing and there's all these potentials in the field, quantum potential, meaning there are so many versions of you experiencing all the things you want to experience. And this is what I teach. I teach people quantum leaps. I teach people how to have their desire now, how to have the desire and then feel the version of themselves that already has it, and then basically quantum leap into that timeline and then get to experience it. And then the next day you can be somewhere else and you can be doing something else. And so I believe that this is really truly the future of work, that it really won't be anything like what we imagined work was like in the past. And so we'll need a new word for it. And I'm open to new words for it, maybe in the comments below. I have a feeling that what people will start to realize is that business is just an extension of living. It's not separate. So this idea that there is this thing over here we do for cash so that we can then go do this thing over here, it's a made up duality. And people are starting to realize that they can really get creative and they can do all sorts of things. And it's not going to be called the same thing. We've already seen that the word career has kind of disappeared. That's a very old consciousness idea. But I think what's really exciting is you get to be all the things you want to be all at once. And the younger generation knows this already, and they can feel it. And we sometimes, the older generation will look down and say, oh my gosh, they're so entitled. They just think they can have it all. Well, guess what? You can have it all too. So if you're interested in a quantum leap of your own and shifting perspectives and integrating all the different parts of you into your world, I would recommend joining me for a quantum leap. It'll be a whole bunch of fun. So I'll post those links. And if you have any questions about what does quantum physics have to do with business, and what the heck, why are we even talking about quantum? Go ahead and post those comments, because I love answering those questions as well.